Okay, hello everybody. This is Michael Tellinger. Today is the 12th of February 2025, and I hope this situation changes. And I've tried everything. So welcome again, and a few other exciting new developments. Right, so let's get going. First of all, I've got to give you a dog warning. Right. Fixing electrical wires, electrical cables, and so forth. Um, and They are, aggravated and so forth. So if you hear my dogs barking in the background, unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it. There they go. So until the truck disappears and they fix the problem with the overhead wires in the road, you might hear my dogs barking in the background. So that's just part of the family fun that we have here, right? Okay, you see, very good guard dogs. All right, let's get going. So we got lots of good news, an incredible amount of good small town. It's because we are aware, and I'm aware of what's going on in the world. So this is an interesting dilemma, an interesting dichotomy, because you've got to be aware of the terrible things that are going on in the world that are happening. You've got to be aware of the terrible truth, but you can't get sucked into it. So One Small Town is a movement and initiative that brings solutions to the world, brings solutions to everyone, brings solutions for all the problems we face. But at the same time, we need to recognize and identify what those problems are. Otherwise, what are we solving? So we need to be aware of the terrible truth, but don't get caught up in it. And the world is broken. I've been singing this song and trying to share and grow this knowledge and grow this information with the world and with a growing number of people. And look where we are today. Millions of people around the world are aware of One Small Town, and so many people have joined us, have become members, and are very very actively wanting to be involved and getting involved in so many different ways. So keep in mind that the current system in the world, the current system we have, come to terms with, identify, and deal with, and that is the socioeconomic system that starts with money and the problem with money about who controls it. And once again, just the last few days, I've posted some very important videos about heads of central banks and the statements they make about the way that they create money out of thin air. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, right? So dark and so disruptive to the world, and we don't understand who controls money, then we can never find solutions. So because we know all about money, we know how it's controlled, we know how it has been set up to control humanity, it's very simple to come up with solutions. And that's really what One Small Town is. It's an evolution of understanding of how the control systems have been put in place to control humanity, to control people that want freedom and sovereignty and want to live beautiful lives of abundance and prosperity. So, just wanted to launch by saying that our socioeconomic system is broken, it cannot be fixed, and we are creating a new alternative system, a new solution. We're not going to fight it. We never fight it. And I'm going to keep repeating this. We never fight the system, because the system that's been created cannot be beaten. They've locked everything down to make sure that you can't win. So we've got to create a new system that makes the current system obsolete. And that's exactly what we're doing. So the question is, once again, are you happy with the way the world is going? Are you happy working like a slave just to make ends meet? Are you happy working 2 or 3 or 4 jobs, as many people do, just to be able to survive and pay their rent and have enough food and take care of their family? It has become a horrible situation, and people everywhere are looking for a solution. Well, if somehow you've stumbled upon this podcast or you've heard about One Small Town, then you have found a solution. Now, I might sound like a really terribly arrogant human being when I say that, but the solutions that One Small Town brings really are solutions for every possible imaginable problem that we face. And the more you embrace One Small Town, the more you immerse yourself in One Small Town, its strategies, how it works, how we bring it to our communities, how we work it together, how we grow it together. The more you get involved, the more you immerse yourself in One Small Town, the more you realize that, yes, the One Small Town strategy provides solutions for every problem that we face. It is quite spectacular. So that's what we are doing. And that's why we're here, because we know we have solutions. We know we can fix all the problems, but we can't fix these problems on our own. You're never going to fix the world on your own. You're never going to feel safe. You're never going to feel that you have enough until you become part of a community, or until you are part of a community where you know the other members of your community have your back. The fact that they will be there in times of need. The fact that we are doing things together, that we are growing things together. We're providing security for ourselves. And security seems to be one of the most important words, the primary thing on everybody's mind right now. Whether you live in the USA or whether you live in South Africa, where I am right now, security is becoming the number one issue with everybody. And then obviously food security as well. Make sure that we can grow enough food. Well, you can try and do this on your own, but it's very, very difficult. And this is why all communities in the past, whether it's ancient times and whether it's more recent times, communities that thrived and achieved great things were communities that were united, that worked together, communities that cooperated and collaborated for the greater good of the entire community and not just some individuals in that community. So it's important that we realize that the world is deeply divided. I mean, if you think about how we're divided by race, color, religion, geography, belief systems, by the kind of jeans we wear, the kind of the brands we use, by the TV shows we watch, the kind of schools we go to, the kind of education we have. We're divided on every single possible level. We're divided so badly that we actually forget that the division in our lives is so deeply entrenched in everything we do that we often don't even recognize it. And it's important to recognize that this division doesn't come from the people. This division comes from the so-called authorities. And often our governments are the instigators of this division. And we've seen that over the last few decades, how that happens in various countries. So once we know that we are a divided species, and the only way we're going to create abundance and prosperity, the opposite of that is to become a united species, to unite and to start recognizing each other's differences and appreciating and loving the difference between the different cultural groups and so forth. As long as we do it, and obviously the different race groups. Remember, we're not the human race, we're the human races. And it needs to be said, it needs to be identified, and everybody needs to be very proud of who they are. Stop being afraid or ashamed of who you are. Doesn't matter what culture or race group you come from. If you're a good human being that wants to do good for your family and good for your community and good for others, then you're part of the global community that is going to save this world. If you think otherwise, and you think in divisive thoughts, then you may be part of the problem. So we've got to make sure. We've got to make sure that we start identifying the things that can solve our problems, and we've got to start doing this together. And people from different walks of life have different skills, and this is just remarkable when you start seeing that. And you can say that certain cultural groups of people are really good at doing that, and other cultural people are good at doing that, and I mean it's relatively generally accepted that people from China and the Far East are really good at maths and calculations and all those things, and we always marvel at that. So we got to identify those things and don't let that become a problem. call it what it is and be proud of these differences. And again, I'm going down this rabbit hole because right now the racial separation and the conscious instigation to create division among different race groups is unbelievable. It's unbearable, actually, and on some days. So I must admit that it's one of the beautiful things about One Small Town is that there is no division. There is no DEI. There is no separation. There's the recognition of who you are. Doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're a contributing member of your community that contributes to the greatest well-being of your community, then everybody will love you and everybody will respect you. If you are a troublemaker and a divisive individual, then the opposite will happen. And that's just how it works. So we got to make sure that One Small Town embraces and keeps embracing these fundamental philosophies. So we can go from a divided species to a very united species, but it's going to be difficult to do that in the big cities. It's I guess, almost impossible to do that in the big cities. But it's a lot easier to do that in small towns. And this is why we're called the One Small Town Initiative. Because in small towns, people know each other. Everybody knows where everybody lives. You know where your children go to school. You know pretty much everybody's business. And it's a lot easier to bring people together in small towns than it is to bring people together in the big cities. However, I must say that even today, I had a phone call from somebody from a big city in South Africa to say, listen, I love what you're doing. Can we implement this in my city? I'm talking about the city of Port Elizabeth. And I said, yes, we can. However, we have to adopt a slightly different approach. We have to look at it as a city, and we have to take some of the elements of One Small Town and see how it can be adapted to a city. And it can be adapted. Now, I'm not saying that we want to start launching One Small Town in the cities of the world, but it can be adapted. But because we're focusing on small towns, let's get our small towns working. Because the moment we have, as I call that first Cinderella One Small Town, it will become a chain reaction and a stampede for investors and conscious billionaires to invest into small towns. It's coming. And you hear me talking about it, and I keep talking about it. And I find it difficult at this stage to navigate between being silent about what's happening in politics and just mentioning enough about what's happening in politics to bring it into the One Small Town Initiative, to give us sort of a sense of urgency to say, guys, things are not good. If we don't get our act together, then we may lose this opportunity. Because I want to be positive, and I am positive all the time. And sometimes maybe it helps a little bit just to highlight the problems, to wake people up. So let me say it again. If we don't start working together, if we don't start cooperating and collaborating, if we don't start saving ourselves and laying the foundation for systems and management systems and food growing and everything that we need to become sustainable and prosperous and have abundance, if we don't start doing that now, we may lose this opportunity and make it take us a long, long time to get back to where we are right now. Here is the most convoluted and strange, unbelievable, road, long and winding road that I could have never imagined or predicted. And I'm sure that you can say that about your own life, especially if you're now suddenly facing your life today and contemplate the way we are. We got to do something new. And you're quite right. We've got to do something new, something that's never been done before. And again, every day I get emails from other movements that are doing this and doing that, and people saying, you should talk to these guys here and talk. They're doing something very similar to you. And I also always say, One Small Town platform is there for everyone to participate. So if you're running a movement, if you're doing something, and I'm going to answer some questions in a little while, you can make it part of the One Small Town Initiative in your community. And that will bring so many more benefits, not just to you and the people that are involved with you and your activities, but to the entire community. That will help, hopefully escalate and grow your. And I must admit, and I'll say this because remember that I've gone through politics. I've been involved in politics. I've been a very active activist, against governments and against the banks and against the central banks. And I've been involved in court cases and I've run a political campaign over 3 elections in South Africa and in the UK and Canada, USA, and Australia with the Ubuntu Party. So not many people have that kind of diverse background in these specific areas. So it's I must admit, I'm finding it difficult at this stage to navigate between all those areas that I've been involved in the past and continue, sharing positive news with everybody all the time, because the world is so bloody dark at the moment. It is so dark and so evil that it could destroy your soul. So we have solutions. We're implementing them. So let me give you some of the good news that happened in the past week. First of all, we are getting stronger and stronger in South Africa, obviously, with One Small Town. And that's because of the technology that we developed and we are just releasing now. And that technology is going to be shared with all our One Small Town ambassadors around the world, like the UK and the USA, where we have the strongest ambassadors at the moment. Hopefully, when things stabilize and Lebanon starts to, I think when things stabilize in Lebanon, let's put it that way, hopefully we can relaunch and start getting Lebanon really active to help those wonderful people that have been growing One Small Town in Ras Al Mutton so they don't feel neglected. And we need to help and work with everybody. So what am I saying? The solutions, the technology that we've developed, and I'm going to come back to the technology because that's a huge subject. In fact, that's the highlight of this week's podcast, is our technology, and not just one, but many, many technologies that are game-changing technologies for the world. So the big thing that happened this week is our meeting with a guy that started a food distribution network here in South Africa. We met on the south coast of the KwaZulu-Natal province, had a very productive meeting, and we agreed to move ahead and start putting together the framework and the structure for this food distribution network. So his distribution network works already. We just joined and he started, and let's put it this way: we developed a new an adaptation of that uses the One Small Town platform, membership systems, the membership cards, all the accountability, the payment systems, the payment gateways, the ordering systems, the online store, and all those kind of things. That it is a huge thing from a logistical perspective. It is a huge logistical nightmare to organize food distribution, especially fresh food, like whether it's fruit or especially vegetables that can go off over a few days, and certain foods that don't last too long, especially if they non-GMO organic. You got to make sure that you get them quickly to the people that want them and order them. So we've put all these things into place, and it is quite a spectacular achievement. I believe we've got the foundation of what could and most likely will become one of the most dynamic food distribution networks in the world. So we're going to test it here in South Africa because it's already running and operating. We're going to fine-tune it and tweak it and make sure we don't miss anything and make sure that everything works in the entire chain reaction, from you placing the order, from the farmers uploading their food and whatever it is that they provide, from the delivery services that pick up on it, from the warehouses and the depots that the product get delivered to, from the agents and our members that deliver the food, making sure that their membership cards work, making sure that there's accountability from collection to delivery, and then payment, and so forth. So it's a huge logistical process. This only large corporations and large companies with huge amounts of money that can pay for the development of such platforms and such blockchains can achieve this. So it's a miracle that we, as one small town, with our limited funding and resources, have been able to put this together. It's because we got incredible people working with us, and incredible coders and programmers, and more incredible people are joining us, and people that solve problems. That's the beautiful thing. One Small Town members that join, that are passionate about what we do, what One Small Town is, are all of the same like-minded sort of character, like me. We mostly resonate, and we all resonate with each other, and we all get very excited when we meet. We throw ideas around, and we find solutions for the problems that we face. And this is always and remains one of the most exciting things about being part of One Small Town, is the incredible people and the incredible ideas and solutions that they come up with. So that's what we are. That's what we are now. That's what we have. We have an amazing. I'm getting phone calls. Sorry, while I'm talking to you on my phone. We have an amazing growing network of people that are contributing and doing amazing things. And I'm getting distracted looking at my screen here. So sorry if I sound a little bit stupid or not present. Just making sure that everything's working okay. If you are hearing me, if you're watching me, just give me a thumbs up to say that you're hearing me loud and clear, so that I know that I'm coming across. Tell me that you can see me and you can hear me, both on Facebook and on YouTube over here. So the food thing is huge. And the reason why it's so big is because as soon as that starts running smoothly and everything works, we can start to reach out to the thousands of farmers that have signed up with One Small Town. So in case you're not familiar or not aware of this, we have way over 1,000 farmers, some from South Africa, some from the USA, some from Australia, some from Canada, some from Europe, some from Brazil and Argentina, and so farmers from all over the world. Who knows, there might be more than 2,000 farmers at this stage that want to work with One Small Town, that want to grow food for the One Small Town family around the world. And this is huge. This is a huge thing. The moment our food distribution system runs smoothly and there are no glitches or hiccups or problems, we can then start appointing dozens, hundreds, and potentially thousands of these farmers to start growing food for the One Small Town food distribution network. And you can just imagine what that means. That changes everything, literally everything. Because farmers in the world right now are under attack. By now, everybody should be aware of the fact that our farmers are under attack, whether it's in South Africa, where they're under attack by our corrupt government and trying to take their land away, or being attacked on their farms, to the British farmers who are about to lose their land because of inheritance tax and all these terrible things that are going on. I'm not sure what's happening with the farms in the USA at the moment, but I certainly know that farmers in India have been under a lot of pressure a long time because of the activities of Monsanto and corporations like that. And I recall at some stage about 2 years ago or so, there were huge suicides happening among farmers in India. And this is just unbelievable. This has got to stop. So I'm so excited about this distribution network because we can implement this anywhere. In India as well, we can implement it anywhere. Once we have the formula worked out, and the One Small Town platform manages all of this, the full flow and the chain reaction that happens from farm to table or farm to fork, right? We can now get the small farmers that are really struggling and worried about their future. We can help them become productive and prosperous and make profits for themselves and take care of their families and start becoming more productive members of their community. Because if you have farmers that are struggling to survive in small towns, that puts extra pressure on the small town. So we can provide, as One Small Town, in every small town and community, we can get all the small farmers in those communities to start growing all kinds of different foods, and putting that into the food distribution network. And this is for me one of the most exciting things. And just imagine all the different kinds of foods. And then it doesn't stop just with the foods. We're talking about healthcare, like medicinal plants, hundreds and thousands of medicinal plants that can be grown by small farmers on small farms, because medicinal plants are a lot more profitable than pretty much any other agricultural crop. And these are the things that we've learned putting the One Small Town together. And very exciting. As we develop this, new ideas and new solutions keep popping up. So I'm so excited about that next phase that comes, where we start engaging with farmers. What I can tell you is that we have at this stage the first farmer that has actually started to grow here in South Africa. About I think he's grown about 60 hectares. 60 hectares. It's a small farm. 60 hectares of food, of corn, shall I say, sorry, corn, non-GMO and organic corn, non-GMO organic corn, both white and yellow corn. This is huge. So by the end of the season, we're going to have probably, I don't know, maybe 10,000 tons. I can't remember exactly. Is it 1,000? How many tons? How many tons it is? My math has just let me down here. But we're going to have a few thousand tons of both yellow and white corn that we can process. We can do all kinds of things with. That is organic, non-GMO. And that's really going to be the first wave of the One Small Town, non-GMO, non-toxic, organic food that we'll be putting out into the market, whether it's just here in South Africa or export some of it overseas. I know that when we put that corn, whether it's in the form of cornflakes or spicy corn or just corn flour or nachos or whatever else we're going to end up doing with it, I know that when we put that on the market as One Small Town, there's going to be a stampede for those products. We know this. You know that. I don't have to sell that to anybody. And the reason for that is because there's such a desperate shortage of non-GMO organic food and corn that when you do find it, the guys that grow the non-GMO organic corn, it's very expensive. So instead of being cheaper and easier to get, the healthy food is more expensive, and we see that pretty much in every aspect of the food industry. So this is a big shift. The fact that the food distribution network will provide a channel of distribution for food of all kinds, and especially also for packaging and repackaging food into different reasons and purposes, for different markets, for different reasons, and so forth. And then processing some of the food, whether it's taking some of the fruit and creating dried fruit. What do you do with mangoes that you can't sell? You take the mangoes and you create dried mangoes, and you make sure that you do it well and healthily and non-toxic. Excuse me. So farmers are smart people. Farmers are some of the smartest people we have. And that's why we love our farmers. And we should all, no matter what country you are, you've got to stand with your farmers. You got to protect your farmers. Because if our farmers get annihilated, that's not good for you, your family, your community, and your country. So it's definitely a motto that I will stick by and stand by with everything that I have. Stand with your farmers, protect your farmers, and help your farmers. So where are we? The food distribution, farm participation, appointing farmers to grow food for us. That brings me to one of my favorite subjects, and that's farmers growing food for us. With our special seed treatment technology, we'll be able to provide the farmers with our special treated seeds that grow better, faster, and provide or produce more fruit and more produce, and are more hardy, need less water, and don't need any fertilizers or anything like that. So I know that some of you who have been with me on this journey for a while would have seen me about more than 2 years ago now do some tests with our seed treatment technology. It works absolutely magically. It is truly spectacular. So this technology, we've had to shelve it because we can only do so much. There's only so many of us, and there's only so much money that we've had to deal with, and so we've shelved that seed treatment technology for now. But as soon as we've released this new technology of ours, this new recycling technology that I'm coming to, then our next project will be on a very large scale, is to start treating seeds of all kinds, all fruit, all nuts, all the obviously cereals, corn and wheat, and et cetera, and start treating our seeds and creating seed banks so that we've got seeds for our farmers. I'm going to come back to another a pet subject of mine, dealing with seeds and towns. But the seed technology that we have is critical towards the success, One Small Town success, and our ability to provide our farmers with non-GMO, non-toxic seeds that belong to the One Small Town community, that have been registered, where the genetics have been registered as belonging to members of One Small Town, not belonging to me, Michael Tellinger. Once we treat the seeds and we register the DNA, that DNA will belong to the One Small Town community, so that they can never take it away from us. They can't take our seeds and steal them and start register them as themselves. And in case that penny hasn't dropped for you yet, when we start releasing our specially treated seeds and we give them to our farmers to grow on small farms for seed banks, first we need to grow the seeds. We need to multiply the seeds so that we have tons and tons of seeds for our farmers. So without seed banks, we can't give the seeds to the farmers. So phase one is grow plants and whatever food it is for the seeds. Then we have to start giving those seeds to the farmers. Obviously, with fruit trees and nut trees, that there's a slightly different process there, because there we create our rootstock, and from that rootstock we then start to develop and graft other trees and so forth. So there are various specific ways of handling that, the seedlings, and creating our huge nursery of seedlings for the farmers, for our communities, and so forth. So all of this has obviously been worked out, and we've just shelved it. And we're going to come back to that very, very soon. I guess probably by the end of winter in South Africa, I'd say by August this year, we should be getting our seed banks and our seed treatment machines set up with the special tunnels, the greenhouses and the tunnels that we need to go through the first season and creating our first season and our second generation stable seeds and stable hybrids, if you want to call them that, and the mothers from which we then grow more. So it's a huge thing. But the best part about it is that, let me say this, if we don't register the seeds that we create, that are now new, stable, non-GMO organic seeds, if we don't register the DNA as One Small Town IP or property, one of the large companies like Monsanto will take those seeds and they'll register them as theirs, and they'll prevent us from growing these seeds and giving them to our farmers. So we have to register these seeds. So there's a whole process. And if people say, well, why don't you just grow the seeds and give them to everybody and all your farmers, it sounds wonderful and it sounds like charity and so forth. But that charity doesn't work, because if we do that, somebody's going to steal it and somebody's going to use it for their benefit at the expense of the people that created it. So we have to think ahead. We have to think with the minds of the evil guys. We have to think with the minds of those that want to undermine us. We have to think like them. We have to be able to put ourselves in their mindset so that we can anticipate their move, so we can anticipate what they may want to do to the people. And it's terrible. The fact that we have to do this is deeply depressing to me. But these are some of the terrible truths that we have to face, and we have to deal with them, and we have to find solutions. And we have the solutions, and that's what we're doing. And I get emails from people. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? The reason is because there's only a few of us at this stage. It's only a few of us doing this in our sort of head office team. That team is growing, but it's still a very small, tiny little team of maybe about 10 people in total. What we're doing is actually what would normally be done by a large corporation of a few hundred employees, and we're doing it as maybe 10 people that are doing this all together. So please understand, what we're achieving is truly a miracle, just by being incredibly resourceful, thinking ahead, thinking on our feet, solving problems when they need to be solved, and planning ahead so that we can continue growing and not get stagnant, right? So the seed treatment technology that we have is absolutely staggering. Since the first initial test that I did here at the Stone Circle Ubuntu head office at the river, those results were absolutely spectacular. So if you don't know what those results are, I'm just going to give you a hint. So that was very early technology that we had, very basic technology. Since then, we've improved it, upgraded it, and made it better so that it actually encodes it strengthens the DNA, not just in the seed but also in the plant, whether it's a corn or an apple tree, so that the genetic gets strengthened and as the DNA gets strengthened, not just in the seed but in the entire plant, right? So I don't want to go into too much detail about that, how that happens, because ultimately that's also our IP. That's the secret, that we don't want those that have evil intent over humanity. We don't want them to have this know-how, right? We've worked very hard on this, and it took us many years to get here. So that test that I did here at Stone Circle Ubuntu office was spectacular. The seeds were treated for 3 days. Then we planted the seeds. At that stage, they just had a tiny little sprout and a long root. And we did this with corn, and we did this with tomato, and we did this with a few other vegetables. But the corn one was the one that, well, tomato as well. The corn one was the one that blew my mind. Literally, the corn caught up with the GMO corn. I planted some GMO corn 3 months before that. Our specially treated corn seeds caught up with that our seed treatment works. It works incredibly well. And that's why I guess I've gone a little bit deep down this rabbit hole, because that is a huge game changer for everybody involved with One Small Town, and especially the farmers and the people involved in agriculture and everything to do with the food value chain that will come down from where the food is grown, whether it's apples and peaches and pears, or tropical fruits, to nuts or vegetables or fruits or the cereals. Doesn't matter. As long as there's food grown in the One Small Town community, there's going to be a whole value chain that we as a community create, so that we can benefit from the entire value chain, and we don't hand over any of that to corporations so that they can benefit from our hard labor and the fruits of our labor. The fruits of our labor, yes. So where am I going with this? So that's coming next. So what are we doing at the moment? The food distribution is in place. We know what we're going to do with the seeds, with the farmers, how we're going to get them involved with us. But before we get there, while we're still testing that, we have this new technology that is now just turned out to be the most spectacular technology in the world. Now, I'm going to preface this little statement and the next phase of this of this podcast. I want to preface this by saying that keep in mind and think deeply about this. Really, I ask you to. Breakthrough, shattering technology or innovation that has made it into our lives or our homes. Great inventors, all the great inventors over the years have tried to get their technology to the people to help humanity, whether it's Nikola Tesla, whether it's where did I make these notes? Whether it's Nikola Tesla, whether it's Royal Raymond Rife with his healing technology, whether it's Victor Schauberger with its special understanding, vortex technology and vortex flow and water and so forth, and doing things, new technology, whether it's in electricity, whether it's in healing and healthcare, whether it's in agriculture, every single one of those great minds has been shut down, and their technology was either hijacked or stolen, or they were sidelined or killed. And that technology was then hijacked by the large corporations so that they could maximize profit and benefit from it, and only drip feed humanity and drip feed the people of the world with that specific technology as long as they kept control. So just keep that in mind. And if you think that the technology that we use developed is in the recycling field, recycling of plastics, of rubber, of polystyrene, styrofoam, all those nasty things that are polluting the world, that are filling landfills and filling oceans with mountains of plastic and so forth. And I can tell you that the technology we have is so mind-blowing that I can only say, once again, there was the hand of God and some unimaginable, unexpected, divine intervention that came down and brought us this technology. It brought the right people together at the right time to come up with the idea, to design the idea, then the factory and the factory people who know how to build things just to happen to be there, that are in this specific technology with knowledge of this kind of engineering, because these are large machines that we're talking about. This is big engineering. How to put it together, how not to get killed, how not to get the stuff to explode when you're doing it, and how to create something brand new that doesn't exist anywhere else on Earth. As far as we know, this particular method of recycling these materials is completely unique, and this has become our One Small Town IP. So it's not held by me. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the designers or even the guy that came up with the idea. It belongs to the One Small Town community worldwide. Me and my team at the head office, we're just the custodians. We're just managing it on your behalf, on behalf of the One Small Town members around the world. We're making sure that we don't screw things up. We're making sure that the results we've had over the last month or so with this technology that is so staggering that absolutely boggled our mind, we're making sure that we can get those results and ensure the continuity and the continuance of that, so that it starts to benefit the small towns and the people in the small towns around the world. That's what we're doing. What makes this technology different is that it is mobile. It's not these huge, large recycling factories that you see all over the world. Ours is, we've decided right up front, we're going to make it small and mobile. It means we can erect them and put them pretty much almost anywhere. And as you can imagine, that changes everything. So our intention is that this technology that generates energy in various forms, that's what I'm going to say. Now, I'm sure that you can see that I'm choosing my words very carefully. I'm being very strategic about how much I share and how much I hold back, because this is very advanced IP that we need to protect at all costs. We cannot allow this IP to land in the hands of the wrong people. This belongs to the people of One Small Town, the members of One Small Town who want to make the world a better place, who want to work together, cooperate, collaborate. Everyone there will benefit from this technology. So we create various forms of energy that can then help communities in various ways. And I think I'll just leave it there. So we're now at a stage where the more funding we get, the quicker we can manufacture this technology. We can manufacture the machines, and we can start shipping them to the small towns around the world, to the countries that we have ambassadors, so that this technology can start funding the One Small Town activities in those countries. So that's the state that we're at. So because we only have limited resources and we're only going to have limited profits from this machinery, we can only build so many machines per month. So the more funding we get, the quicker we can build the machines, the quicker we can distribute them around the world, the quicker we can bring relief, prosperity, and abundance to millions of people in the small towns of the world. So because of the sort of slow pace of what we can manage right now, we've decided that this presents an exciting opportunity to launch a new token. I'll call it an investor token, but it's really an investment from a very sort of left center or left of field. It's what we're going to be launching soon is a crowdfunding token into our new technology. And this technology will encompass not just this recycling technology in its various forms, but also various other technologies that we have access to. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and say over the years, especially the last 15 years, I've had the privilege and the benefit of being in touch with hundreds and hundreds of brilliant minds, innovators, inventors, scientists, doctors, healers, engineers, you know, guys that know how to propel sound, you know, into hypersound speeds, and laser beam technology experts, and so forth and so forth. And many of these people have developed incredible technologies, and several of these people have now come forward and agreed to let one small town use their technology because they know it's going into the right. We're doing it for the right reasons. We're not a large corporation that wants to feed our greedy shareholders. We're a non-profit company, so everything that comes out of this goes straight back into the small communities, into the towns. So whatever technology it is, and we're looking at probably about 5 or 6 additional new technologies other than the recycling that I've just mentioned. These vary from healthcare to climate control. Again, I'm trying to choose my words very, very carefully. I don't want to give too much away because we're going to give it away in more detail in our prospectus. To the seed treatment technology and agricultural product technology and not produce, but equipment that is revolutionary equipment and so forth. So very exciting times. Our team of designers are just living in very exciting times because, you know, as soon as they developed and designed something new, there's something else that's in the pipeline waiting for them, ready to be designed and put out to the world. So we're going to launch a new token, which I call the One Small Town Technology Token, but in some ways we're calling it the Cornerstone Project Token, the Cornerstone Token. And it's going to work very simply. Once again, we had to find a different way for people to be able to fund and invest, if you want to invest carefully here, to fund our initiatives, but at the same time benefit from the profits of what they have funded. So we use a very simple crowdfunding technique. There are various crowdfunding models, and we use the crowdfunding model that actually gives you something in return, so that when you buy a token, but when you help to crowdfund our new technology token that I hope to release by the end of, I'd say, in about 3 to 4 weeks. You know, you always want to release it tomorrow, but in reality, it doesn't quite work like that. So we have to plan it, design it, write the prospectus, design the prospectus, write the white paper if it's necessary for the specific token. The prospectus might cover it, and then put it out there and launch it. So I'd say probably, you know, not before 4 weeks from now will we have the prospectus ready. I'm going to work on it as fast as I can and get it out there, because this will provide an opportunity for everyone out there to buy into some of the profits or benefit. Let me use the word benefit, not buy into. benefit from the profits that come from the technology that we create and invent and put into the global market. And this is huge. So when you contribute on our crowdfunding platforms, you will then be contributing, and in return for that, get tokens, our technology or cornerstone tokens, for whatever amount. If we issue the tokens at $1 each, and you contribute $100, then you're going to get 100 technology tokens, One Small Town technology or cornerstone tokens. I'll explain to you briefly how this will work. This is quite brilliant. What we've done in a way is, without using the mainstream systems, we've created our own private stock exchange, if you want to call it that, trading platform, where you can move your tokens around from one technology to another, so you can benefit from that technology and the profits from that technology. So we're very excited and very proud of ourselves to have come up with this system and the structure, and it works very simply with a very simple accepted method of crowdfunding around the world. So keep your eyes open and watch our news updates and so forth. I'll be putting out the prospectus. What will happen is you'll buy as many tokens as you can. You keep them in your digital wallet, because obviously you need to be a member of One Small Town. You can't buy these tokens unless you're a member. So you buy these crowdfunding tokens, and then you can choose. You keep them in your digital wallet as the cornerstone tokens. And then as the different technologies come online and they come on board, you can then choose to take some of your crowdfunding tokens and place them in the recycling technology token or the climate control token. Again, I'm using words very carefully here because it's breakthrough technology we're dealing with here. Or the seed bank token, or the seed treatment token, and so forth, and various other technologies and machinery that we'll be releasing, especially for the agricultural industry and the healthcare industry as well. So you can then choose where you want to put those cornerstone tokens of yours that you funded, and you can put them into any of the technologies and then benefit from the profit share of that specific technology. You can also sell your tokens. Remember this. Never forget this, that One Small Town is a private membership association. It's a private membership movement. So everything we do as members of One Small Town. And you, as a member of One Small Town, have your digital wallet with your Infinity tokens and any of these other new tokens that will come on board as we grow. And you can, at any stage, sell those tokens. Now, imagine you buy a token that deals with our seed bank technology, and that token just keeps going up in value because people are looking for it. They want it because there's going to be a limited number of tokens that we'll be putting out. So in case you didn't understand the beginning of this, is when we launch the cornerstone token or the technology token, there'll only be 10 million that we put out. We only launch 10 million. That's it. There'll never, ever be more of those tokens available. That's it. So as the cornerstone technology projects become more and more successful and people see their success, the tokens that they hold in their wallet will become more successful and more valuable, because the profits that the token holders get from those businesses will keep going up and up and up. You see where I'm going with this? So we've created our own private membership trading platform and trading exchange of tokens, where people, One Small Town members can trade and exchange tokens or sell their tokens and so forth. So we'll be launching this crowdfunding initiative, hopefully by the end of March, or hopefully even before the end of March, so that we can fund the building of our recycling technology. Okay, in case you didn't connect those dots, the reason we're doing it, so we can build more machines as quickly as we can, so we can start distributing them to our One Small Town offices around the world and helping those small towns fund themselves with the proceeds and the income from that technology. So I'm giving you the high overview. It's not necessarily going to work like that every town is going to get the technology. It might end up that the technology ends up in a factory somewhere, but the profits from that factory are allocated to the small towns that come on board. Okay, so just understand that this is not necessarily exactly as I'm laying it out. I'm just giving you a very simple view of it so you can imagine it. And that's pretty much what we're busy with. It is so exciting. The technologies that are coming our way are mind-blowing. I have no doubt that is going to grow into a very vibrant innovation and inventors one small town hub. So I'm sure I mentioned this before, that we're bringing in more and more of these inventors into what we call the One Small Town Hub, Innovation Inventors Hub, where they share ideas and they invent and they create and they innovate, and because of the funds that we'll have, we'll be able to bring more and more of these people into the One Small Town Hub. So every day, amazing things are happening. Just because we're not launching small towns, every day a new town popping up. Don't let that distract you. Don't see that as a negative. In fact, that is a very positive thing. So let me backtrack a little bit. Why am I saying that the fact that towns are not popping up all over the place is a positive thing? Is because we learned that if we rush things, things get screwed up. The wrong people get appointed into the wrong positions for the wrong reasons, and then they can't do or achieve what they thought they could achieve, what their community thought they could achieve, what we expected them to achieve. And then everybody gets disappointed, and we have to then remove those people or replace them with somebody that is more suitable. And that's one of the greatest lessons we've learned, especially in the last 2 years, of how not to appoint the One Small Town ambassadors, how to find the right ambassadors to launch One Small Town successfully, so that the ambassador delivers on the One Small Town promise and not on somebody else's promise or some other initiative's promise or on their own ideas that they might have in their head. So when an ambassador is introduced and is launched, that ambassador will be a One Small Town ambassador wearing a One Small Town cap, because we have now put together a very stringent and very strict profiling system so that we make sure that the ambassadors we appoint are the right kind of people with the right kind of mindset, background, knowledge, experience, because the ambassador ultimately is like the CEO of many, many businesses that will be launched by you and your community in your small town. Now, the ambassador is like the CEO that must know how to manage a large company with many departments and diverse departments, from agriculture to engineering to technology to healthcare and anything else that we do, and any other business we might want to start in our community. The ambassador is going to, his or her role is to be responsible for the success of each and every one of those businesses, so that we as a community maximize our profits. At the same time, ensure that our community upliftment and our community development projects and programs run smoothly, and that they're well funded, and that we have created the funding mechanisms for the food kitchen and the orphanage and the old age home, and growing food in our own food gardens, our community food gardens, for the One Small Town store, the One Small Town kitchen, and so many other things. So that's the one thing that has happened. And this is why you don't see 100 ambassadors running 100 towns, because this is such a new concept. And while people are incredibly keen, we have hundreds of people who want to be ambassadors, but they're not always the right profile. So right now I'm dealing with probably about 12 ambassadors, 12 budding ambassadors that look great and they sound great when I talk to them, but are they really the right person? Well, time will tell. Once they go through our screening process, once they've filled in the form online, once they've answered all the questions, and we know that they're the right person, then only do they get appointed as an ambassador. And then they have 3 months to put an action plan together for their town and their community. Because what's been happening and putting tremendous pressure on me is that we've appointed ambassadors in the past, but then they have no idea what to do. So then they turn around and say, "So, Michael, what should I do next? Are you going to come here and stay with us and help me put this together?" And the answer to that is no, I can't. I can't come and move to your town and now stay there and help you put One Small Town together. You need to know what you're doing. You need to have a plan. So that's one of the biggest lessons we've learned. before we appoint ambassadors, we know that that's the right person that has a plan, a minimum 12-month plan for your town or your community. So if you're such a person and you have managerial and management experience running a large company or a large corporation, you might be retired, but you're excited about getting involved with one small town. You don't know, you're bored, you're retired, you've got too much money, or you've got enough retirement money and you want to sink your teeth into something exciting. Sign up as a one small town ambassador for your town. You'd be the perfect person. You may be the perfect person for this, right? So go online and sign up to become an ambassador and go through the process. So that's it. So that's about our technology and our coming soon to come new tokens, the cornerstone tokens and the technology tokens that will help you get funds distributed. 30% of the profits, 30% of the profits from all the technology that we release is going to be distributed to the token holders. Just please let that sink in. So if you buy the technology tokens and that technology grows into a multi-million or $1 billion industry, which it most likely will, because I can tell you the technology we have is a multi-billion dollar industry as it is already. We just need to build them and grow them, build them and distribute them and put them to work. Then there's the other technologies. So just imagine if you are one of the token holders of the 10 million tokens that we're gonna launch, and this technology grows into billions of dollars, you're going to be receiving, the fraction of the number of tokens that you have, 30% of the profits of that technology company, that technology business. Remember, those businesses are for-profit businesses because that money is used to launch one small towns and pay for the costs to run a one small town. So I hope you're connecting the dots and joining those links, because I know this is all too much and too new for some people. That's why it's taken a long time to put it together. This didn't happen overnight, as you should know by now. So, right. So where are we? We are in a very exciting place. I want to talk to you about one of my pet, before we finish off here today. I see we've done more than an hour already. I'm going to quickly get to some questions and some Q&A. One of my pet projects, and that's to do with the seedlings and our seed treatment machine. And I think I did mention this before in one of the other podcasts, and that is working with the youth development. My pet projects, starting one small town youth empowerment office and youth empowerment movement in as many small towns as we can, providing the material, preparing the material for the young people to give them hope, give them vision, give them direction, give them ideas, help to stimulate their thinking out the box so that they start to plan their own future for themselves in their own town, in their own community, not wondering where they're going to get a job. Will there be a big company that comes to town that they can get a job at? So forth. We need to change the way the minds of the young people, so they start to think about creating their own prosperity, their own abundance, laying the foundations for their own security of their own future. And that is coming up with ideas, wild, out-of-the-box ideas about what kind of businesses can we as young people start in our community that we will own. And we're not going to be dependent on large companies to get a job, to literally be a slave to that corporation. And so this is, for me, very exciting, this youth empowerment and youth upliftment and empowerment and motivational initiative. And part of that is obviously writing business plans, learning how to write business plans, and so forth, and training and putting together all kinds of training facilities and so forth for themselves in their own communities, so that they become trained and skilled young members of their community, valuable members that contribute to that community. But the key thing as well, one of my favorites, is turning your town into a food forest. Now, just recently, every now and then you drive through a town, and in South Africa, in the northern province, in the province of Limpopo, there are several towns there. There's so much food growing literally everywhere, in the fields, in the streets, everywhere. There's just avocado trees and mango trees and papaya trees and just all kinds of tropical fruits growing everywhere. There's so much food that nobody is hungry, and it's quite spectacular. When I say nobody is hungry, that's not necessarily true, but you know where I'm going with this. So there's a huge opportunity for the young people in every small town, in every one small town, to plan and initiate and plant what will become the food forest, so that no one in future will ever go hungry, because there'll be food growing everywhere. Every kind of citrus tree or apple tree or nut tree or tropical fruit tree that you can grow, all depends on what climate you live in. You as young people will plan it, will work with the high school kids and the college kids, if there are such kids in that town, and the kids that have no hope, the kids that come from the wrong side of the track, that don't have the means to go to college or university, that don't get a bursary or a scholarship, the kids that are looking out for jobs, and if they don't get a job, they feel like a failure. Well, we're going to change that. We're going to give all these children or these young adults an absolute clear vision in life, and make them realize that the future is entirely in their hands. And as long as they use the One Small Town platform, the cohesion, the accountability, the management systems, the checking, the making sure the things get done, and planning, the project planning system, and plan the food forest of their town. This is going to be a spectacular project, planting trees along every street, around every park and inside the parks and around the schools and in areas that are not being used, and choosing the kind of trees and growing the seedlings, creating our rootstock from our seeds, from our fruit nuts trees, so that we have our incredible rootstock. This is such an exciting project, one of my favorite projects, and I can get sidetracked very quickly talking about that. So yeah, I guess we've covered quite a bit. Remember, sitting on the sideline complaining about the world isn't going to achieve anything. And I can see, often you see in the comments, in the social media comments, people bitching and complaining about this and complaining about that. Just stop it. Just come up with solutions. Be aware of the problems, yes, but stop bitching about it and start talking and presenting solutions. And if you don't know what solutions to present, then read the Ubuntu Contributionism book, get inspired, think out of the box, come up with solutions for your town, your community. Think about the kind of businesses that you can start in your community, and get off your ass and do something. Stop complaining and bitching. It's not going to get us anywhere. Okay? Start getting your people together, start organizing meetings, start planning, getting ideas, sign up as members, So here's the question. What can you do to support One Small Town? What should you do? What can you do right now to join and support One Small Town? Very simple. Go online right now, onesmalltown.org, sign up as a member. That's the most important thing you can do. Then tell everybody about it. The more members we have, the more cohesive we become, the more we start using the infinity tokens, and the more success we're going to achieve. Then once you're a member, depending on your personal financial situation, buy as many infinity tokens as you can. There's a limited number of infinity tokens available out there, right? And once those tokens are gone, you ain't going to be able to buy them. You're going to have to earn them. So right now, you can get infinity tokens at quite a bargain price, because they've, remember that One Small Town and our trading platform and everything is still new. People and our members are still learning how to use it. They're figuring out the power of it, how incredibly powerful it is, and how to use it, and how to use the digital wallets. And I'll keep encouraging One Small Town members to start sharing tokens and paying each other in infinity tokens, like we used to do in Bitcoin when Bitcoin was first released. Now, keep in mind that your infinity token is never going to lose its value. You can't lose it from your digital wallet. You can't lose it from your account. You can't accidentally lose your flash drive and lose all your Bitcoins. You can't lose your infinity tokens. So start using the infinity tokens the way that we used Bitcoin in the beginning. Put your digital wallet at the bottom of your invoices and tell people that you accept payment in infinity tokens if you can afford that. If you need dollars and yen and or pounds or euros, then obviously you can do that, or you can take half the payment in Infinity tokens and half in dollars and euros or whatever. Start using Infinity tokens. That will make people realize that we have our own alternative trade system, and we've created our own private membership exchange system, an exchange medium, an exchange tool. And it's our private digital wallets. It's your digital wallet, and it's your Infinity tokens that you can use and share with everybody. So go online, become a member, and buy as many Infinity tokens as you can. And then as soon as our new technology tokens come out, help us crowdfund the $10 million that we'll be looking for with the 10 million tokens. And that will put you in a very, very strong position in time to come, because you'll be able to get some real benefits from the brilliant technology that we'll be releasing, that we are already using. So it's not something we think that works. We know it works. It's working already. We're using it already. We're just fine-tuning the mass manufacturing and the production, and so we can start distributing these technologies around the world. So that's what you can do to support One Small Town. And remember that all this other technology that the good people wanted to bring out to the world has failed. It's never reached us. We want to ensure, as One Small Town members, and me personally, who's been driving this for so long, I want to make sure that we don't fail, that the technology that we've developed, that we now have already in our control, that technology reaches the people and helps the people and benefits the people. And at this stage, I can't imagine that not happening, because the way that it's been set up, very different from any other technology in the past or inventor in the past trying to get their technology out to the world. Very different. So now I think just to finish off here, I think there are a few questions that came up. Let me just open the my document here, and okay, so we have I think we answered this before from Mario Andreo. Can One Small Town initiative be implemented as a group of people scattered in different locations as opposed to living in the same village? The answer to that, yes. I think we've gone through this before, Mario, so I'm not going to answer it again. But the answer to that is yes and no. Obviously, we want to do One Small Town. So we're doing One Small Town to start off with. So we want people to be cohesive in a community, working together in a community. But we are putting into place opportunities for One Small Town members that live in cities to contribute towards the well-being of One Small Town by providing services and receiving Infinity tokens in return. So that's coming. Again, there's only a small group of us. We're doing as much as we can. We're working as fast as we can. So, understand that. So do we have an ambassador in Cyprus? The answer to that is no. We don't have an ambassador in Cyprus. Daniel Adams. I'm a non-profit cat shelter, a small non-profit cat shelter. Is there a place in the community for me? Will Waterval-Boven, that's my town, have their own veterinary clinic in the future? We've been looking for a property to rent unsuccessfully for months. Okay, let me answer that one by one, step by step. First of all, well done for being a small animal non-profit cat shelter. That's wonderful, because imagine the horrible things that are happening to our people. What's happening to our animals is probably even worse, because so many animals are just unloved, uncared for, and they just abused terribly. So is there a place for a non-profit cat shelter in the community for you? So again, it's entirely up to you. If you want to run your cat shelter as a community initiative, then absolutely. So it could be a community initiative that then generates funding from donations or generates funding from the other cornerstone projects. So you need to decide, is it a is it a is it a is it a business that is going to make money from people putting their cats there and paying you for it, or is it a service that we provide to the community? If it's a service we provide to the community, it can be turned into a business that not only provides a free service to the community, but also provides a service to people with money that might want to leave their cats with you and so forth. So the answer to that is everything is possible. The all ideas are on the table. It's how we as a community and how you as an individual that runs a business wants to integrate your business into the community. It is, it's got to work for everyone. It's got to work for you as the person who started the business, and it's got to work for the community if it becomes a community project. If it's just a business for profit, then obviously the community needs to benefit from that if you want to make it a One Small Town initiative. So there are ways of making this work, and all ideas are on the table. And yes, there are ways of making this work. Will Waterfallboven have their own veterinary clinic? I have no idea. Keep in mind that I started sort of what was the very, very basic and raw, rough beginnings of One Small Town here in my town of Waterfallboven in Mpumalanga province in 2013, where we fixed the town hall, we fixed the community kitchen, we fixed all the toilets and the stage and the hall and the sound system and the projection screen, and we put a projector in there with PA system, and we fixed the town hall. There was pretty much a large toilet. People used to go in there and pee and defecate everywhere. It was disgusting. So we fixed it to control, put locks on the doors, fixed it up, turned it into a beautiful community town hall, and started to hold events there. And people would come every day, and they would say, I want to get involved. So we'd give them a chore and say, do this, do that. And at the end of 3 hours, they would come back and get a plate of food from the kitchen that we ran in that town hall. So that became our community kitchen. So that ultimately, fundamentally, became the very, very raw One Small Town beginning, where we were doing exactly what we plan to do now. People contribute 3 hours, and they come and get a plate of food at the community kitchen. So we were doing that in 2013 without a platform, without a blockchain, without infinity tokens. At one stage, we created little tokens that we gave the people to say, once you've come back with a bag of rubbish that you've collected, whatever chore the people were given, they came back, and when we concluded that they did their chore successfully, we didn't have a way of testing it. We gave them a little token, and they took that token to the kitchen, and the kitchen then gave them a plate of food. So now we've recreated that again, except we run it as a blockchain on a platform with a very advanced technology that nobody can cheat. And you know that somebody has contributed, and membership cards. So you know that somebody has contributed their 3 hours towards a community project. And this is why they can come to the community kitchen and get their plate of food. And all happens with a scan of your membership card. And that's the beauty of what we've created here. So we've learned from our experiences, and we keep learning from our experiences. Like I mentioned, learning how not to appoint our ambassadors, how to find the right profile ambassador that is the right skills, talents, and temperament to be able to launch One Small Town successfully. So a long rant there about the question, are we going to have a veterinary clinic in the future in Waterfallboven? It all depends. Can we find a vet? Well, is there a vet that wants to come and set up shop here? Then the community will support that. We as One Small Town will support that vet if that vet is ready and prepared to run his veterinary clinic as a One Small Town initiative. You see, it's that simple. So that vet can retain 30% of the business because it's his or her business. And then the rest of the business and the support and the work is done by the community. So the community will go and take care of the pets and bring the pets to the vet and so forth. So all the people, the vet will have all the hands necessary without having to pay them a salary because he or she has made their clinic a One Small Town veterinary clinic, where the members are his co-owners, and the members work in the clinic, and they clean the clinic, they take care of the animals and so forth. Obviously, there's going to be training that's going to be required. So the training component of that is always associated with, receiving infinity tokens for the training that you give and the training that you receive. We reward our members for being trained or undergoing training in all kinds of skills, because we want our members to be highly skilled and knowledgeable people and members of our community that can contribute with their skills and their training towards the well-being of our community. So we're turning it all around. We don't want to charge our people for training. We want to reward our people for training. And therefore, each business that we set up, whether it's a dairy or carpentry shop or an accounting firm, every one of these businesses will be offering skills training and be receiving tokens for giving the skills training to those trainers and tokens to the students that come and learn those new skills. This is, I know I've spoken about this before, but remember, this is new. Many of you are new to this. So if you've heard this for the first time, just let that sink in, how powerful this is, and how within a few short years we can have a community of highly skilled, highly trained people in all kinds of skills and services that we're providing to ourselves. And that's how we build up our community. So, where was I? Oh, that's the questions. Yeah. So that's Danielle Adams. I hope I answered your question. Margot Schlosser. How would it be built in once? How would it be built to build a once more town in Morocco? What does that need? You, Michael, are like me. I love the work you're doing. I don't live in France. I will move to Morocco this year. Obviously, Margot is doing her best to write this in English. I really appreciate it that you wrote this in English and not in French or Arabic. Your community feels best of all the communities I have encountered through these years. So I'm looking if it is meant to be a link for you to help to build it. If not that, it's okay. Just checking now. You have done great work. Thank you for doing so. Big hugs from France, Margot. So Margot, thank you for this question. In Morocco, yes, One Small Town can work in every country and every town. Absolutely. So it's up to you, up to somebody in the town to say, hey, I want to start One Small Town in my community. I can't force it upon people. We have built it. Now the people can come. And the people can start using. What have we built? You know, that saying, when you build it, they will come. Well, we have built it, and now the people can come. We've built the platform. We've built the systems, the structures, the memberships, the membership cards, the checks and balances, and no one can cheat, no one can run off with the money, the transparency, everything is there. We've built it. Now the people can come and use it and start One Small Town in their community. It's that simple. Yes, we're getting some complaints from people that say that the platform is not easy to understand. You know, it's like anything else. When you first start using a new bank account, an online bank account from a new bank, it's not easy to do. You first have to learn how to do it. It's different from the other ones you're used to. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to. Once you sign up as a member, you go through it and navigate the platform, navigate your membership opportunities and what you can and what you can do as a member. And learn how to use the platform. Then learn how to apply to be an ambassador, learn how you can apply to do many of the other things, and start learning how to upload your ideas and your business plans and so forth. So everything ends up working on the platform, because just imagine, and with every problem that we have, we obviously try and solve that problem and recode it and fix it as quickly as we can. But again, as I said, we're a small team, so we're working as fast as we can, doing as much as we can, as quickly as we can. So, so One Small Town can be started in any country, in any town right now. You just need to be the person that puts up their hand. Once again, keep in mind what I mentioned, I think, last in the previous podcast, that you can start One Small Town either with the full, the full scan of all the full scan. That was a Freudian slip there, wasn't it? Wow. So you can start with the full bouquet. That's a better word. Full bouquet of activities, right? With the business plans and your 12, 24-month plan of businesses and that, plus the community upliftment projects. Or if you're not into the business side of things and you don't have anyone that can help you with the business plans and so forth, and you're only a community person, you're a community leader, you want to help develop the community, you can start One Small Town in your community by becoming a community project leader, a community project coordinator. So you can sign up as a community project coordinator, launch a bunch of, load a few of your community projects onto the platform and start using that. And that still means that your members receive tokens for every 3 hours they contribute, as long as your project is listed on the system, on the platform, under your town, and your members then come and they participate in those projects that you listed as the coordinator. Your members and you will be earning your infinity tokens that you can then put to use in your One Small Town kitchen, and eventually, hopefully, as soon as possible, in your One Small Town trading store, where you can trade your tokens for other goods that other people have traded, that other people don't want, might be just the thing that you need or want at the time. So the One Small Town trading store will become a proper trading store where people really come and trading their unwanted goods, get tokens, and then get things they want for their tokens. It's very, very simple. Eventually, it'll go into people can come and buy tokens and then get things with their tokens, but that's further down the road. Right now, we are dealing with the foundations of One Small Town. We need to go step by step. We can't go from zero to hero overnight, because you know what that does. That causes disasters and big problems. So that was Margot from France. Thank you for that question, Margot. So yes, so you can go to Morocco and you can start One Small Town in Morocco, or you can start it in France, but you're going to need someone to put up their hand and say, I'll be the ambassador. I'll fill in the forms. I'll make sure that I'm the right person. If not, I'll find the right person and I'll take on a different role. There are many roles that you can play. You don't have to be the ambassador, but we do need an ambassador to launch the full bouquet of activities of One Small Town, right? So next question from Sharon Robinson. Can I assist in creating a small town in my area, Hamilton, Ohio, USA? Absolutely, Sharon. You can assist in launching One Small Town in Hamilton, Ohio, USA. Yes, I would suggest right now, please contact our One Small Town ambassador, Michelle Jacobs. Michelle is on usa@onesmalltown.org. Very simple email address, usa@onesmalltown.org. And tell Michelle you want to start One Small Town in Hamilton, Ohio, USA. And I'm sure Michelle will be very happy to hear from you. And she'll talk you through what you need to do. But may I also say, before you reach out to Michelle, go on to onesmalltown.org and read what you need to do to become an ambassador. Or if you don't want to be the ambassador, how to find the ambassador, what the ambassador has to do, about how they go to be screened. If you want to be a community developer, then you can sign up as I said, the community project coordinator. It's entirely up to you. But Hamilton, Ohio, USA, let's manifest that might be one of our first One Small Towns in the USA with the proper structure that we have now learned how to implement it, right? So where are we? So that's Sharon Robinson. Thank you for that. Millicent in the UK, is there any small town community near me? Millicent, no, we don't have any small towns in the UK yet, but we're getting closer every day. And we know that the municipalities are going under a lot of pressure in the UK, the councils. We know from our UK ambassador, Julia and Michael, who's the ambassador in England, have been doing fantastic work in the UK, putting down the structure for One Small Town UK. One Small Town UK and One Small Town England, or British Isles as we call it now, not UK. So if you want to know anything about One Small Town British Isles or One Small Town England, please contact Julia or Michael. Their emails are very simple: uk@onesmalltown.org or england@onesmalltown.org, and connect with them. And put your hand up if you want to start One Small Town in your town. Put your hand up. Go through the process. Go online, sign up, fill in the forms, and sign up as an ambassador or apply to be an ambassador, and then go through the process. And we will talk you through it, either from our office here in the head office in South Africa, or Julia and Michael in England will talk you through it. Then there's Daryl Humphreys. And that's the last question for today. Daryl says, Michael, have you heard of the prime law as proposed by Mark Hamilton, founder of the Neo-Think Society and the Immortalis movement? It dovetails perfectly into the ethos of contributionism. Its application removes the ruling class and politics from destroying our society or hobbling our society, while simultaneously shaping the mindset and interactions of all of us within OST initiative. Here's the link for it. Yes, thank you, Daryl. Yes, I'm familiar with the Immortalis movement. It's a fascinating movement, and I think they're doing a lot of wonderful work. And I believe they're opening people's minds, they're raising consciousness, they are uniting people, and so forth. And I believe that anyone in that movement who has reached a certain level of awareness, consciousness, can join One Small Town and bring their knowledge and experience to One Small Town. Remember that One Small Town is a platform for anyone from anywhere. We don't hold out anybody. If you want to contribute and you want to be an active a role player in your town and want to bring prosperity and abundance to your community, that's what One Small Town is. We've created the framework, the structure, the platform, the blockchain, the membership system, the reward system, the token system. All of that is done. It's taken 20 years to get here, and here we are. Everything is working beautifully. With a little glitch here and a little glitch there, we will get rid of every glitch everywhere and make the One Small Town platform stronger and stronger every day with your support and your participation. So I'm going to end here now. Let me get out of this Word document and say thank you for joining me. Keep in mind, we're building this together. This is not my initiative. This is your initiative. This is our initiative. And it's up to you what you do with it. So go online, sign up as One Small Town member, buy as many tokens as you can. You'll be glad you did. There'll become a time that you're going to be really, really glad you did, especially now that you know we're releasing this very advanced, mind-blowing technology. And that's just one of many technologies that'll be released into pretty much through 2025. You know, I've heard people say over the last few weeks or a few months that 2025 is going to be a monumental year, a year of great change, year of great shift, and a very positive year. Well, I can see that it's already happening. We can see how certain countries and the USA, what an amazing transition the USA has gone through just in the last month. What amazing things are happening in some countries of the world, and what amazing atrocities are happening in other countries of the world, especially my own country, South Africa. But the good thing is that we have the solutions, and we now know what not to do, and we know what to do. We know how to unite, how to come together, and how together we'll create a future of prosperity and abundance for everyone. And I think on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, this is Michael Tellinger. Bye for now.